hello and welcome to another episode of Kill James Bond. I am Alice Caldwell-Kelly. I am joined by my friend Devon, and not by Abigail Thorne.
That's right.
She's been cancelled by us. Cancel culture. We have seized control of the podcast at this time to do a sort of irrespective of gender boys' night. And we're very pleased to be joined by Ben from Bunta Vista to help us out. Ben, how's it going?
Oh, it's going very well, thank you. How are you guys?
I'm
Not
well.
too bad. I mean, it's been difficult here at KJB Towers dealing with what it was that Abby said, but we are just going to have to move past it.
Disavow, completely disavow.
Absolutely.
Would never. I've never believed anything like that about where the borders of Serbia should be in my life.
And now is the perfect time for you to outline your beliefs around the borders of everything in that portion of Europe.
We have a segment on the show called "Where Should the Borders of Israel Be," which we'll now be going into.
We shouldn't have debuted the one where we rank the Balkan states just based on like vibes. We shouldn't have done that. We do apologize. I stand by what I said. But
I was planning on us doing a little bit of a thing in this one where we say who owns Pangong Lake, and I think that could be a lot of fun for everyone involved.
So, Abby has not been cancelled. What Abby was doing was, are we allowed to say that she was getting like S rank, sort of gold tier dome from like every clouted up trans woman in New York at the same time?
Yeah. She was in New York City having like an all trans Eyes Wide Shut party.
This is cool. It's fine. I hate her so much. Between this and like her owning the only model of the camera that makes her look great and everyone standing next to her look like shit, I'm starting to have some real problems with that lady, I swear. But she will be back, assuming that she like recants what she says about Serbia for the next one. But for this one, she gave us the option, right? She was like, "Oh, do you want to do fucking some My Little Pony shit, some high femme shit?" And we went, "Nah, fuck, we're doing the Raid." Doing the Raid Redemption. We're doing a 2011 Indonesian martial arts movie that's like barely even a movie. And since I saw it, it's been all I've been able to think about. I'm just calling people up on the phone going, "Hey, you seen the Raid?" I saw this 3 times in the like 2 days before recording this. I'm Raid pilled, you know?
That's going above and beyond the line of duty for podcasting, right?
Yeah,
there.
well, I watched it twice in Indonesian and once in the English dub, which is just atrocious.
Oh man, so I saw the English dub last night for the first time, having previously only watched the Indonesian version. A few things really pop out. One is that the dub is quite bad. That's the first. Yeah. Also, a completely different score, I didn't realize, done by Mike Shinoda of Linkin Park and another guy whose name I've forgotten. But also with a surprise song in the end credits that is also written by Mike Shinoda with vocals from the frontman of Deftones, Chino, where I was just sitting there being like, oh my God. A very specific thing to try to woo me with.
A whole cultural experience here. But I guess we'll just get into it. I should say, when I said this is barely a movie, there is not a lot in the way of plot, right? But you're not watching this for the plot. Noted old dead idiot Roger Ebert hated this movie.
Oh,
right?
God damn it, Roger.
he gave it a 1-star review on the basis that this is nothing. There's nothing happening here. There's no plot. There's no detail. You know, it's just guys kicking each other in the face for 2 hours. To which, yes, that's a valid criticism. However, fuck off.
That's the exact text of my 5-star review that I left on Letterboxd.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes Roger Ebert's decisions are just absolutely baffling. And his whole thing where he believed that movies should be rated based on what their intended audience will think about them. So he gave like the 2007 Transformers movie, he gave 3 out of 4 stars. And then he watches something like this, which is like the perfect martial arts movie. And he's just like, it's trash from the toilet. You idiots wouldn't know how to break a heart if you had to. Like, strange man.
He said it was too much like a video game for him, which does not make sense, and we'll get into why. But so we begin at dawn, right? Where our hero, we don't know shit about this guy yet, is at prayer. We open explicitly with check this shit out. This guy's Muslim, which is cool. I like that.
That's right.
You don't see that in a lot of movies.
That's true. It's the first action that we see him take in the film because that's what makes him indestructible, is being Muslim.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he's introduced as being Muslim in like quite a conservative way too. Like he's praying Fajr. His wife isn't because she's pregnant, but she like still wants to. And it's intercut him praying with him like beating the absolute shit out of a punch bag. And what the movie wants you to get from this is a man who is both like physically and spiritually strong, right? And you don't get the one without the other. There's like an interesting shot with like he like raises his finger in Tashahhud, and then you see the finger go onto the Glock after that, and it's like, okay, I see the point that you're making here. You know, which is that violence is only possible with the permission of Allah. It's just like great, cool. I agree with that. So this movie has 2 points to start with. Number one, it's cool to be Muslim. Number two, it's cool to be a cop. It's really, you know, you see why I'm so excited for this.
It almost seems like, I don't know if there's an equivalent of like the Islamic youth pastor, the cool young imam, being like,
there is.
Oh, yeah. I bet you think it's pretty boring praying all the time. Well, check this guy out. Is he boring?
Yeah, and meanwhile he's landing fucking like combos on this punch bag.
Oh my god.
Can we talk about combos?
I've not learned to pronounce the name of this martial art yet.
It's Pencak Silat. Pencak Silat is like one of like about 5,000 schools of martial arts in Indonesia. There's like one for each island, and there's like 5,000 islands in Indonesia, right? And like I would describe if you were a practitioner of Pencak Silat, you would describe the deal of it as being sort of like a holistic version of like spiritual strength and like mental strength and physical strength, and you can't have one without the other. I would describe it as doing sick-ass combos on a motherfucker, because that's what it mostly manifests as. You don't see him doing a lot of meditation. You see him doing a lot of like breaking people's joints.
It seems like it's the martial arts version of that one like classic Street Fighter competition video of the guy pulling off the like 25 punch combo perfectly. Like it's just in the space of 10 seconds, it's like fist, fist, elbow, fist, fist, elbow, 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 fist, all happening at an incredible speed. Where I don't even know if the impact would hurt you. I think you're just getting dizzy and confused.
Just getting like vaguely slapped like 100 times, which to be fair, like would annoy me after a while.
Because the damage multiplies the higher the combo is. No, but
that is true.
That's right.
Sort of one of the main moves that the sort of Silat practitioners in this have is to sort of like climb or descend a person, like hitting each bone or joint on the way up or down them. You see that like 50 times in this movie. It's always great. You see a guy like grab an ankle and sort of like punch the like shin, punch the knee, punch the thigh, punch the dick, and then just sort of go all the way up. It's like those old illustrations like Wound Man, you know, you are getting punched in like every sort of like load-bearing surface in your body. But so our cop straps on his cop watch, which watchid.com helpfully informs me is a Hamilton khaki X Mac.
Good.
The level of research we do for this podcast. I don't know why I said we just then. The level of research you do for this podcast really does take me out sometimes. I'm out here
reading the Foreign Military Studies Office essays from them titled shit like The Indonesian Military Territorial Operations 1995 to 2000. I'm on top of this. And like I do want to talk about the watch, because this is not like a particularly expensive watch. I think it's well cast in that it is a cop watch, and I say that derogatorily, right? It's big and it's sort of brash and stuff, but it also sets up one of the first things about this movie, which is they had a budget of $0, right? This isn't like a Rolex or an Omega, right? Because they didn't have the money for it and they didn't have the connections, and like this movie was made by largely one Welsh man going to Indonesia and like making friends.
That's fucking right.
I really like that. A lot of the praise for it has been like, oh, it's genius because it's one, you know, it's one building. He limited it to one structure, and he's just going through the floors. That's it, nothing but combat, and like literally, it's one building because they could only afford the one. It was meant to be set in a prison. They couldn't afford the multiple buildings of a prison, so they're like, all right, apartment complex, also cool.
I love the filmmaker so much. I do want to take a second here because, like, if you've watched this movie, there is a pretty high chance that you won't have noticed that the director is just a Welsh guy called Gareth Evans, and he just
he's credited by all three of his names in this movie.
Gareth
at least
Hugh Edwards.
That's right, because he's Welsh.
That's fucking right. He is. He went to the University of South Wales, did screenwriting, and then he did like one documentary in Indonesia where he just saw someone do Pencak Silat and was like, holy fuck.
Which you would. Like, I'm telling you right now, if you haven't seen this movie, first of all, you should. Second of all, if you go to the Wikipedia page for Pencak Silat right now, you will see a large number of very high-resolution photos of men flipping each other over in, like, rice paddies and shit. It's incredible looking. It's, like, so striking to look at, even more so in motion. And so our boy Gareth, like, saw this and, like, he saw his whole career out in front of him at that moment.
That's right.
And I respect that very deeply.
He was even like action choreographer on these things. Like this is a man who saw a martial art and just absolutely fell in love.
Mm-hmm.
And I respect that immensely.
Which is it's exactly the same origin story as the movie Miami Connection, except with really, really different results. Check out Miami Connection.
So our cop Rama, he like runs into his dad on the way out of his building, and he's like, "Yeah, I will bring back my long lost brother." Again, bare bones of a plot. We then cut to the SWAT team van because Rama is a cop, and he's like on the SWAT team, and he's like the rookie. He's new, and
I don't know if there's some cultural context lost there, but the establishing shot of the SWAT van almost makes it seem like it's being played for comedy. It's a very small van. It is a rinky-dink.
Yeah,
it's like a high ace or something, like mid-early 90s small Mitsubishi van with maybe some armored windows on it, but you like when they show the inside of it that they pull out, you're like, oh right, okay.
Yeah, I really have some thoughts on this, right? Which is, I want to get into at some point in the movie End of Watch, right? Because a couple of reasons. I think it's one of the sort of cornerstones of what fascist filmmaking in the 21st century is going to be. But also, part of that depends on it making cops vulnerable, right? And we know that that's something that you have to work quite hard at in fiction because there's a lot of very good real-life reasons why cops aren't vulnerable most of the time, right? In the same way, like this movie, they don't have any really fancy police equipment. They've got like sort of like plastic airsoft helmets. They've got a shitty van. They don't even have like badges or patches or anything because it was too expensive, right? But it aligns with the narrative because it makes them look like assholes. It makes them look like nobodies. You would be forgiven watching this movie for thinking that like Indonesia had just invented the concept of police because the briefing that they get on the way in is, oh, we gotta raid this tower block. This guy, right, Tama, the guy who runs it, he doesn't like the police very much. He's got like an army of gangsters. We're really sort of like on the precipice here. There is like no one else. It's just us. And the Indonesian police, like Indonesia was a military dictatorship until like 1998, right? And like since then, the US and to a certain extent also Australia have been like very invested, literally and metaphorically, in Indonesia having a strong policing institution for like anti-terrorism reasons and stuff like that. So you look up the like who these guys are meant to be, and real Indonesian cops, they look like sort of tactical cops everywhere. They have all of this, very scary stuff. They have the big armored vehicles. In fact, they look quite lurid by Western standards. Lots of like red and yellow and everything. They don't look like these guys, but these guys look like they should be scared. And I think it's sort of one of those things where the like financial part of making this movie like really helps the story.
And that what you're saying about the looking like they had airsoft helmets on, they were wearing exclusively airsoft gear as well.
Yes.
The guns they were carrying were all airsoft guns, so every single muzzle flash, every casing ejected, and every every single thing that looks like the action of a gun was added in post because they couldn't afford anything except airsoft guns, which is delightful. It also seems like so much work.
Oh yeah, they even have the airsoft vest, the cross-draw one that if you Google airsoft vest is the third result with the cushioned shoulders because it's the cheapest one, and so that's just what they have. But so
you got to make a movie.
Yeah, you do.
You got to make a movie.
How much money you got? You got to make a movie.
$1 million.
That's Werner Herzog quote. If you have to work in a dirty video store, he basically just. He uses a really specific example of being even if you don't have money, you should make a movie. Even if you have to work in a pornographic bookstore or whatever, those aren't the only kind of jobs available now. But I can see where you're coming from. I understand the point.
Well, our cop Rama, the actor playing him, Iko Uwais, was working as a delivery driver for the phone company when he got cast to do this. So
amazing.
But yeah, so their sergeant, the SWAT sergeant, Jaka, he gives them their briefing, which is. There's a big apartment block. This guy, Tama, runs it. He's got a drug lab in there. He's got 2 lieutenants. And I didn't grab this as a drop, but I do love it as a sentence. A maniac of feet and fists that would tear down walls for his boss. And the other one, Andy.
Yeah, and Andy, who is also present. Don't worry. He keeps the Mad Dog in line. It's does he? Yeah. How the fuck does he?
We got Mad Dog and Andy, and we see then at this point Mad Dog, Tama, and Andy. Tama's just eating some noodles, and then he executes some guys. And we see that he executes them he goes to the extra mile to kind the last one with a hammer instead of shooting him because he chooses sadism because he's a bad dude. He's also kind of. All of these dudes are really grimy looking, and Tama spends most of the movie in a string vest. And it's that's a conscious decision because Gareth Edwards said he didn't want to do a sort of colorful suit kind of gangster.
No, these boys are damp. The entire movie, these fellas are damp.
But they're also dressed in sort of the damp and disheveled version of late 90s LAN party wear. All of the clothes are quite sensible that everybody's wearing. They're not stylish, but they're not super practical also. It's very odd. You just look at everyone, you're just oh, that guy's wearing a hoodie and jeans. Oh, all right. Cool.
Yeah. So they stop, they arrive at the sort of apartment building, which is this great shot of Jaka sort of looking around a corner and seeing this thing looming up at him. It looks like absolute shit too. It's not a tall building. It's just a very hostile looking one. It looks menacing.
They lied about the size of it on the posters. The tagline for the movie was 30 floors of death, and it's a 15-floor apartment building.
That's
right.
It just casually
you gotta sell the sizzle, baby.
That's right.
People want more floors.
They want more floors.
So they stealthily infiltrate the building by one of them. One of these cops gets out his arresting garrote, right?
That's right.
And just perfectly Hitman Agent 47's the lookout.
Yeah, we get 2 things in quite rapid succession. While they're in the van on their way to it, we get the first hint that maybe this isn't a completely sanctioned mission that's going on here, because Rama's all right, why now? Why are we doing this now, and why are we doing it? To which the dude's second in command, who I think's
Bowo.
Oh god, what's his fucking name? Bowo. Is just shut up. How about that, cunt? And he goes, all right, fair enough.
I like Bowo a lot. He learns nothing and is a cunt to everyone.
Yeah.
Which, as we see, because as they get to the door of the building, a guy is trying to bring medication to his sick wife. And Bowo goes, no, you fucking don't. Stay back from the thing, because we're busy doing cop shit. And Rama is the one to play good cop. He pushes him away, and he's no, just give it a minute, right? We'll be in and out. We're just sort of nipping in to kill this guy. And by the way, I should say they are explicitly going to kill this guy. This isn't an arrest the guy. It's it's an assassination. And
we also meet Earth's most nervous lieutenant, which is a guy called Wayu, who is just he's already at the apartment block when they get there, and he is just God's perfect nervous guy. You can tell he has absolutely no business being there at all. He looks like he just came straight from a desk,
visibly corrupt.
Oh, completely, sweating bullets every single second of the day. He's wearing just a normal t-shirt and a bulletproof vest, no hat or anything.
So they sneak their way into the building. They ambush a bunch of people. They like zip tie a bunch of people, which you want to be careful with. Also, they're just regular zip ties because they couldn't afford the like flex cuffs, which is very funny. And all of the sort of like weapon handling, room clearing stuff is fine. It's good. They're trained with the Indonesian military to do that, which is like probably the least reprehensible thing the Indonesian military has ever trained anyone to do. And then, listen, it was either that or I referenced the time that like the Indonesian police squad this is supposed to be arrested a terrorism suspect and kicked him in the ribs so hard he died of a heart attack, which is sort of an occupational hazard when like you're into your Pencak Silat, perhaps.
This is one of the techniques of Pencak Silat, I believe.
Yeah, just kick a guy in the ribs until he dies.
It's like the 5-point exploding heart technique, right? But it's just sort of the 1-point exploding heart technique.
Exploding stomach technique.
That's right.
Yeah.
So they clear 3 floors, absolutely no easy. Should be a piece of cake. But then they make the classic cop mistake, which is they don't kill a kid fast enough.
Yes. Yeah. One of the like kid lookouts makes a run for it, gets killed a second too late by the sort of nervously corrupt detective. Why? And then they are unable to like chase the second kid lookout down before he like activates.
They had
the
a
big
chain of
thing.
boys was there as sort of a safeguard. If you can't sever the link.
They just got some stairwell boys. They just got some boys stood in the stairwell.
A boy on every stair. That's the promise.
That's right.
Yeah, but they're sort of like halcones or whatever. They're boys. One of them gets to the intercom and he goes, "It's the cops," moments before being tackled and I guess arrested.
Also introduces some bullet time into the mix with the extremely like quite at odds slow motion of the bullet versus the slow motion of the child that's getting shot by the bullet, where I think if you sped it up to normal speed, that bullet would still be traveling at like 3 foot a minute.
Oh, also, we do see that Jaka like tries to stop the lieutenant from like shooting the kid because he's like a good cop. He's like a good guy. But so the alarm gets raised and we see that Tama has just been watching this whole shit on like CCTV anyway. He's already like aware of it. But he calls his sniper team, who get a better entrance than the SWAT team do. And I love these guys. These are my boys in this movie. Because you know what? They show up, they do the job, they survive the movie as far as we know. They just get out.
Oh, yeah. Good point. They just leave?
Yeah, they have one job to do. They do it, and then they're like, all right, beautiful.
Two guys with sniper rifles just set up in the building opposite and like kill all the cops on the outside. Because like in a sort of fictionalized version of Indonesia where everyone's specialized in melee fight, it's both smart and like safe to be a sniper. Because you know, what are they going to do? Run all the way up there and then like punch all of your like joints and stuff? No. You shoot them first. Easy.
I have a deep suspicion that these two guys have explored each other's bodies. They fall into each other's breathing rhythms immediately before they take their first shot. You're like, oh, these guys are intimate.
Oh, they've synced up breathing before. No,
yeah, 100%. My homoerotic sniper team. These are my guys. And
they're just like still there for the entire movie because there are like multiple points where someone goes by
near
a window.
It
just gets opened up on. It's just like they're just having a great time over there. They're hanging out. They've not worked a day in their life. They love it.
Yeah, it's great. Some more of Tama's guys like kill the 2 cops they've left guarding the shitty truck, which doesn't even have like a bulletproof windshield or anything. They both get like shot through the windshield.
Oh, I really enjoyed that as well because the first guy, it's like a perfect shot through the throat, one shot, instantly dead, and then they finish off the second guy by 3 guys lazily walking down and then shooting 500 bullets into the front of the car.
That's right. One
Sends
shot,
a
one
message.
Kill. Done. Next step, 500 500 shots, 1 kill.
Let's really fuck this average up.
Let's get this fucking guy done in.
And as part of the conceit to like make the cops vulnerable, at this point you have to believe this attracts no attention. There are no other cops in Indonesia, and no one else is taking an interest. And also the radios don't work, which we'll get to in a second.
That's right. It's a movie.
Meanwhile, one of the guys who they zip-tied and arrested, he like contorts his arms in front of him, grabs a machete, kills one cop, and then gets his hands back behind him and does the thing that like every American cop has been trained to believe everyone who approaches them is going to do. He just runs up towards him. It's like, help, you got the two gay snipers are like killing your friends in there, with his hands behind him. And as the cop tells him to stop, he like perfectly reaction time shoots him. Just doesn't even give him a second, which is okay, sure.
First appearance of a machete in the movie, 19 minutes and 11 seconds. That's a pretty good average.
Not the last.
That's pretty solid.
The holdout machete that he's got taped under his kitchen table.
Yeah,
exactly
my table machete.
Situation.
You have the sink gun, you have the table machete, you know?
The fridge gun.
Yeah. So at this point, Tama he cuts the lights, and the SWAT team are like huddled in the stairwell on the landing. And he gets on the microphone, he gets on the PA system, and he does some Warriors shit. This one goes out to the Warriors, that real mean-looking guy from Coney Island. And he goes, okay, there's a bunch of cops here. You should probably kill them. If you do, you have free rent forever. And most importantly, be yourself and have fun with it.
Yeah, even himself with please enjoy yourself. And I'm like, yeah, okay, nice.
It's a good management style, you know, it's people-centric.
And they do enjoy themselves. There's a whole group of fellas who roll up and are having the time of their fucking lives.
Yeah, because they set up to ambush them. A bunch of other guys with machetes are trying to get through the door. Jaka, like, then collars the sort of nervous lieutenant. He's like, why are we actually here? Why haven't you and won't you call for backup? What exactly is going on? And the lieutenant's like, don't worry about it. At which point, because their vision is based on movement, the like guys open up on them with rifles, and we get a long gunfight.
This fucking goes hard.
At this point, well, this is the thing. I don't like the gunfight stuff as much as the martial arts stuff that follows it, because you can see the airsoft at times. You know, they're sort of miming the recoil, and it's not as good.
Well, to be fair though, they use the guns right at the start to get, and then just I guess canonically everyone runs out of bullets, because this is the one scene where everyone just opens up, and then it's like it's all punching after that point.
You're not running down to the shops at this point. Being, oh fuck!
No,
you had like 2 clips, and you were not careful with those 2 clips.
They like try and the SWAT guys try and escape. They like use an axe to break through the floor and stuff. We get a bit of the sort of like gun kind of martial arts. You get my favorite genre of anything ever, which is the John Wick thing of like punching someone with a gun and then shooting them with the same gun you just punched them with. Which it's cool. Hugely in favor of that. There is dubstep on the soundtrack at this point, which dates it a bit. But then Rama decides, okay, you know what? I'm gonna fix this problem. I'm gonna improvise. I'm gonna adapt, and I'm gonna overcome. Goes to a sink. Goes into the cabinet under the sink. Rips with his bare hands a like propane gas canister out of it. Puts it in the fridge. Gets his boy to help him move the fridge next to the door to create a sort of like directional explosive.
Yeah, create like a sort of fridge breaching charge.
Yeah. Which he then detonates by shooting it.
That's
and
right.
we see the entire hallway is obliterated. Bunch of dudes get killed. The camera goes out. Tama's like, what the fuck was that? And then we get the funniest line fucking line. It's even funnier in the dub, right?
What the fuck was that? Looks like we just learned what we're dealing with.
Huh?
A guy that puts gas bottles in fridges and then opens the door and then shoots the gas bottle. Exactly what I thought it was.
Fuck, we didn't calculate for this.
This is Andy, the like smart lieutenant, the secret long lost brother, but you're not supposed to know that, but it's very obvious. That's him going like, you just learned who you're dealing with. And Tama gives him this look afterwards that's like, what? What do you mean by that? And I understand that like the point of this line in the screenplay is for Andy to essentially be saying, looks like he's just done some James Bond shit, the likes of which we've never seen.
I'll tell you the point of this line of the screenplay.
Please.
Is so that it can be in the trailer. That's the fucking point of that
yeah.
line of the screenplay. That's some that just happened shit. Like that's like, do you see the fucking God? What was it called? Moonfall, right? Do you ever see the bloody trailer for Moonfall or something?
No.
Where they had Sam Tarly off Game of Thrones look directly at the camera and say, like, "What are we doing right now?" And someone else goes, "We're inside the moon," and he goes, "That's the coolest thing I've ever heard." And I was like, shut up, motherfucker. If someone ever says some like trailer shit to me, we're done. It's on site at that point.
Yeah.
So Tama's like, okay, we'll fucking clear out their rooms so we can start renting them again. This is how renting works in Britain too.
Yeah, it is.
I do think it's cool that like the bad guy in this movie is first and foremost a landlord, because yeah, great. I love to hate them, and you know, I do think they would all try and do this shit if they could. At this point, Rama gets separated, right, with another guy who gets like wounded badly. He gets like his ear shut off or something.
Another guy. It's the dickhead guy. It's fucking.
It's Bowo. Yeah. So like, Jaka and the lieutenant like get separated from them, and they have to meet a mini boss, the guy who like bangs his machete blade on every surface he touches.
Yeah, first level boss appears in this scene. You get like the little like intro animation of him walking into the like in the fucking aftermath of the propane tank fridge based explosion. You see him and his boys brackets machete just sort of like walking through and just hitting people kind of at random in the sort of mist, and you're supposed to go, oh shit. And you know what? Fucking fair play to him. You do go, oh shit.
It's pure warriors, you know, with the beer bottles clinking together. But at the same time, I'm just also thinking like, bro, you're gonna chip the blade. You're like banging that on like concrete and shit. You're gonna get a big chip in there. You can't. Well, anyway. So
he might be using it as a form of echolocation, maybe.
That is
this
possible.
guy's part dolphin.
Yeah.
I think this guy's just like credited as like machete boss or whatever. So
that's right. Yeah, machete gang number 1.
And so he's about to echolocate these cops when 38 minutes in the movie starts, and some Pencak Silat breaks out as Rama, carrying his injured friend, runs into about 50 dudes, all of whom he takes to pieces. It's an audio medium, it's hard to explain, right? But there's a lot of people get sort of very violently killed here in a really entertaining to watch way. Not least because he's carrying Bo for like half of this shit until he like has to put him against a door frame to go and kill some more dudes.
Oh, one thing that really stuck with me from this scene is it's very leg focused. I don't know
all
if
of his attacks are leg focused. Yeah,
it's all on the legs. Everyone's getting stabbed in the leg or sliced in the leg or punched in the leg. It's almost entirely legs. It's very strange.
It's leg day.
Like one of the first thing he does in this scene is like slam a knife into a guy like right up at the top of the thigh and then just pull it to the kneecap.
He does that like twice too. He like does that a couple of times on different guys, you know?
That's the worst one. I can't. Oh my god, it's very upsetting.
And it comes real early as well. Like it's like
all of these guys have machetes too. Do they keep them? No, they don't. They're constantly getting like kicked out of their hands and stuff.
Oh, and he's throwing them away as well. Like he'll de-machete them and then get the machete out of the immediate area or kick it off. He's making sure they can't just, you know, like a NPC in a video game, pick their gun back up and start going again.
Yeah. And the other thing about this is Iko Uwais really fucking fast too. Like a lot of this is editing, but a lot of it's not. And honestly, it reminds me of Bruce Lee more than anyone else. Just like he even gets a little sort of like aftermath moment where he is like killed the last guy there and he kind of like flexes a bit. And I'm just like, that's Bruce Lee shit to me. And a lot of martial artists have tried to be, and this is the like first one since Bruce Lee that I think actually achieves it.
We get our first instant with a thing that occurs like a couple of hundred times in this movie, which is this guy effortlessly dismantles like 50 guys, and then he sees 4 coming down the hallway and is like, I gotta go. I gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
It's too much for me now. Like, I'm tired. I gotta take a fucking breather.
Yeah, he needs to like recharge his mana.
That's right. So he like it's the end of a level. So he gets to the door of the guy who he told Boa to fucking leave alone earlier, and it's like, for fuck's sake, could you please let me in? And this guy is and he like looks over at his wife who is sick in bed, and his wife's like, no, don't fucking let him in.
ACAB, absolutely do not. Yeah, but he like prevails on him, and the guy lets him in. And what's really fascinating is, well, actually, no, I'll do the machete scene first, because it's great, because you like immediately get like followed in.
Yeah. He gets like hidden in like a little crawl space behind the sofa, and it's
that guy just had his crawl
very
space
generous
ready
crawl
to go.
Space.
Yeah, it's like precisely 2 cops big, just in case you need to hide 2 cops.
Yeah.
What these nice people are doing renting in Crime Tower, I'm not sure. But yeah,
maybe the rates are just really good. And you're like, well, I'm in Crime Tower, but it like
it's
way
like,
below
where
market.
else are you going to get like Zone 2 at this prices, you know? And you get like a nice tense scene as the machete guy comes in, starts stabbing into the crawl space randomly.
No, 2 things. First of all, perfect shot from above, right? Of machete guy like coming over the sofa, and it's from above, so you get most of the room, and then you get this like tiny little space where you can see the 2 cops hiding. Yeah. You see him approach it. And we get the point of view shot from Rama where he's looking like he's staring at the door. And obviously you're being set up to be like, you're watching that door because that's how you know how you're going to get into that space. So you want it to open. You're expecting it to open. And then suddenly the fuking machete like slides straight into view.
It's so good.
And you see it like coming towards him as he like stabs further, until we get to the sort of the big hit of the scene, which is he's like stabs right next to his face. Like his face is like wedged in place, and he's got like a cut on his cheek from this machete. And at that moment, the guy like distracts machete guy outside long enough for him to like get his hand under it so he can wipe his own blood off of it on the way out, so the guy isn't suspicious. It's really fucking tense. It's really good.
Really solid. Just phenomenal.
So Machete Gang leaves, and at this point we have to do a classic of the genre. You got to do surgery on this guy to get the bullet out. Where Boa has been like shot, and this is a great moment where they're looking for like a knife or like forceps or something, and the guy has like a cake slice or chopsticks, and Boa just goes like, "Fuck you, look again." And like clearly in agony. But so he gets the bullet out, Boa's convalescing, and then we get this fascinating scene where I would describe this as sort of like it makes sense for a society where the police are in general much less trusted, right? And where sort of anti-police sentiment is much more widespread, where this like everyman goes, yeah, you're probably being bribed to do this. Your boss is probably corrupt. I don't know why you're even here. I've seen that detective, the fucking polo shirt guy. I've seen him here a bunch of times before. So this is some sinister bullshit. And Rama's defense against this is an inverse of a sort of familiar thing, which I can only describe as like, there are a few good apples.
I promised.
Yeah, like what he says is,
not every cop is swayed by money, sir. If I believed that, I would have never opened the door.
Great voice acting on both sides.
Really solid.
God, that dub.
But like, I really like that a few good apples thing of like, listen, okay, 99% of us are corrupt, right? But not me though, right? So there is still some hope, which I don't know. I really like it. I think we may sort of like find ourselves heading in that direction lately. So he leaves Boa to convalesce, and he just like exits to try and like find his boys.
We've established that Rama is kind and he's willing to look after an injured teammate. However, we also recognize that having an injured guy around is not going to be good for a karate movie, right? So we get that guy out of the fucking movie now. Don't worry about him. We'll pick him up at the end. He gets dropped off. And Rama leaves, and he runs into the same like 4 guys that he initially earlier decided were too much for him. And you see him like he runs away from them, and he gets to a door that's locked, and you see him enter, okay, I'm going to have a fight now mode. And he like stands in the fucking corridor, and it's like the bit in Ip Man where Ip Man shows that he's now taking the fight seriously by getting into Ip Man pose. You go, beautiful. It's time for Pencak Silat to occur.
And let me tell you, some Pencak Silat occurs.
This is the fight where I noticed something about Ram, which is that he starts off just like hitting motherfuckers. Like he's just hitting people at the start. And then in every fight, there's just a certain point where he's like, all right, time to start killing. And then after that, he's just like a whirlwind of knives and shit. But like for the first like half of a fight, he's just punching people.
Yeah.
And then, but the first kill is always spectacular. And the first kill in this fight is the door thing.
Oh, the door thing. Ow. No,
the door thing.
The door thing, he like, a door gets broken and he body slams a dude neck first down onto the sort of like jagged remnants of the door and then just sort of like watches him bleed out on the door for a second, just like, ugh.
Body slam even like undersells it, right? Because what he does is he grabs this dude by the head and then jumps backwards, pulling him, like stretching the neck out as he goes down, and then lands neck first on the shattered like door frame, and it is visceral. It's you take a couple of beats just to like comprehend it, and then he's right back to the action again.
What you have to understand is that was the most efficient way to do that. It's not, it wasn't meant to be a gory kill. He wasn't trying for that. It's just that's the smallest number of moves to take that guy out, is to sort of wrench his neck onto a broken door.
There's another great character moment too, like a second earlier than this, which is he kicks a guy like off a balcony where he falls across the landing and lands with his back sort of like perfectly cracking on another concrete balcony, and then he runs, right? He just like he's gotten that guy out of the way and he runs. That guy's mate follows him through the door a second later, and you get like a beat of the guy looking at his friend sort of like perfectly thrown and snapped in half on this balcony, and just goes like, ooh. Yeah, just like ooh, yeah. Maybe I don't want to chase him actually, but he does, and he gets killed. Because you must be loyal to your landlord. At this point, he has to like jump out a window and ride a guy out the window down onto a fire escape, and he gets the like
that's the first level boss.
Yeah,
that's Machete Guy
who gets killed thusly. But then he gets like the status effect hurt applied from this.
Yeah, for the remainder of this shot.
Yeah. He like stumbles through the apartment. There's like a woman smoking crack there, and seeing another woman reminds him of his nice woman. It reminds him of his wife. And so he just like stumbles down the hallway and he's like, wife. He's like thinking about wife.
He enters the wife reverie, as happens to all of us in times of crisis.
He's opening up the wife atrium in his mind palace. And he's sort of like looking at the wife contained therein.
God, what I wouldn't give to go to the wife atrium. It's like the butterfly tunnel at like a zoo or something.
Actually, you can't touch the wives, and they will move away from you, but it is very pleasant to be in their presence.
They're very delicate. Like, you don't want to try to touch the wives.
Mm-hmm. No flash photography either, but
that's true.
And then he gets like bundled into an apartment, and then we go back to Jaka, who makes a mistake because he gets in a fight, and he gets in a fight with Mad Dog, and
second level boss,
and then Jaka pulls a knife, Mad Dog pulls a gun, and Jaka kind of just like freezes there, like, I see you've sort of like bested me on this one. I've fallen into a popular idiom. Right, I brought a knife to a gunfight. But luckily, Mad Dog is a video game boss who loves to like set up his own boss fights more than anything. And so while the lieutenant like escapes with some other random cop, Mad Dog just goes, okay, yeah, I'm gonna back you into this room with a gun, unload the gun, and be like, yeah, I hate killing people with guns, it's boring. It's like ordering takeout. Instead, what I want to do is beat the shit out of you. And that's what he does. He and Jaka get in a fight, and Jaka puts up like a strong showing, but then ultimately gets put in like a sort of a neck hold. And one of my favorite tweets, it's by a Twitter user called Viney
Fuck off. I know them.
And the tweet is, Sweet dreams, you piece of shit. I try to snap the prison guard's neck, but instead I just make him look to the left very quickly. And so Mad Dog makes him look to the left very quickly.
We get like a fake out neck twist before the final neck twist as well. The like where he takes an enormous run up, grabs the head, swings his entire body around it like he's going around a set of monkey bars or whatever, but then with the effect of just sort of moving him a bit. Like
It's so good.
it's amazing.
It's so acrobatic, but absolutely like no result.
Yeah, he just sort of does chiropractic on him on the first try, and then the second try he actually does the like neck snap, which
What? I mean, Mad Dog is a man who simply loves a fight. And after he's already won this fight, he's just like stands perfectly still waiting for this guy to get back up so he can keep fighting him. But he's like gone at this point, so he's just doing moves that he's always wanted to try at this. So he's like, fuck it, let's see if I can do the neck spin things.
I wonder if this one works. Oh, it doesn't. Okay, well.
All right, back to old classic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then having killed him, he essentially like grabs Jaka's dead ass corpse and goes, "I'm taking this. I'm bringing this with me."
Smile.
This is a keeper.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Andy, the like brains of the operation, in his little fucking next cardigan, has bundled Rama into a room, and you get the big reveal of, oh my god, but they were brothers the whole time. It is not that big of a reveal. There's barely any plot in this movie.
Worth pointing out maybe at this point that Andy kind of nice with it. He's wearing like a very sensible sort of nice shirt, but he's got that kind of covert physicality to him where you're like, oh, he's wearing a nice shirt, but he's also, I think he might be a little bit muscular. Kind of nice with him.
And they have this argument, which is essentially, my dad sent me to like bring you back from the crimes. Stop doing crimes. And Andy doesn't want to because it, much like me in podcasting, this is the only thing he knows how to do. And it's the only thing he's ever been good at.
First of all, that's simply not true. Second is like, but what do you do, brother?
Yeah,
like, what do you bring to the operation?
He's the brains.
I think he's mostly in crime logistics.
Yeah.
Crime HR, crime sort of personnel
sort of
issues.
Crime consultancy, yeah. He's on the management
He's
track.
a crime agile consultant.
Yeah. Yeah. And so he like tells Rama, listen, just try and get out quickly. And Rama's like, no, not without my dudes. And Andy's like, okay, fine, whatever. I gotta go meet with the boss. So he meets up with Mad Dog. Mad Dog is just bringing Jaka's corpse with him, which Rama sees and is like, fuck. And then we get this great scene where like Andy, Mad Dog, and Jaka's dead ass body are in the elevator, and they have a sort of like competitive henchman chat, which I really like, where Mad Dog's like, oh, he's not going to be happy with you. You didn't even bring him one dead guy. I got a whole dead guy. Where's your dead guy?
Yeah, like the elevators in Mass Effect 1. That's just like having a little chat on the way up.
Yeah.
It's like,
and Andy's like, he's fine. He's not going to want a dead guy from me. I'm on, I'm streamlining stuff,
But he did want a dead guy, it turns out.
Yeah, he gets up there and he's like, where's my dead guy? I mean...
It's like, bro, you haven't brought me a single dead guy. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And Mad Dog, you can tell Mad Dog is like, should have brought a fucking dead guy.
Yeah.
Dipshit.
Specifically said to you about the dead guy.
A guy like me would never be caught lacking a dead guy like that.
Yeah, and so as punishment for lacking a dead guy, he gets like stabbed through the hand, like attached to a table and stabbed through the hand. And of course, it's revealed that somehow he forgot that there's fucking CCTV everywhere, and he's seen him having the whole like brothers chat, and now he's quite peeved at him for the whole brothers thing. At which point, it occurs to me, it's been a minute since we saw any Pencak Silat. We're about to fix that.
Don't worry about it.
Rama meets up with the lieutenant and this other cop, and they enter the drug lab for the drug lab fight. And the drug lab fight is the best fight in the movie. I don't want to, like... That's my opinion, I think it's the best one. Partially because there's really good VFX for, like, everything except guns in this movie. And it, like... The stuff that they've added for like the violence in this, there's a shot in this where Rama kicks a guy in the face, and you can see the like sweat spray off the guy's opposite cheek. And like,
that fucking rules. Yeah, really, it's so fucking sick, dude.
Yeah.
I always hate to do this kind of movie because I end up just like sitting here being like, yeah, and that was fucking cool, and that was fucking cool.
It's a difficult movie to describe in terms of plot pacing because, as you said, there's none. There's like 2 things that happen in it, and the rest of it is just like. And then there was about 15 minutes of continuous cool shit, and then they walked up some stairs into 12 minutes of continuous cool shit, which was very sick, by the way.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
It's all very good.
It feels like
Watch
being
the movie
like
The Raid.
sort of 6 years old and being like, and then he kicks him in the face, and then he kicks him across the table full of cocaine, and then a
He kicks
guy
him
like,
all over the gaff. I'll tell you why
Yeah.
this is my favorite fight scene, and it's for a completely different reason than yours. It's because the lieutenant's in the scene, and he like, and at this point, like Gareth is like, well, fuck, we can't just have him just like stand there and like T-pose until the end of the fucking scene. So you get like the shots of Rama and also like random surviving Mook. Don't get attached. It's like doing unbelievable Pencak Silat, and then it cuts across to the lieutenant who is like taking 10 full seconds to pick up a chair and hit a guy with it. Just like, yeah, you're here too. That's nice.
Yeah. The only thing they could think to do with him was like slow but like really strong. So he only has one move, which is pick up the nearest piece of office furniture and like crash it on top of a guy.
Yeah, he's operating on a sort of Captain Falcon Ganondorf kind of paradigm, whereas everybody else is a sort of Star Fox type deal.
Yeah, it's really good. Is the main thing. At which point, once again, they get separated. Rama happens across the like torture room that they have, where Mad Dog is just like beating the shit out of Andy like a punch bag. And Mad Dog sees the opportunity for another boss fight, and he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna let this guy go, and I'm gonna fight both of you at once." For
It's so dope.
sort of 15 of the last 20 minutes of this movie.
And communicated entirely silently as well, where he's just like holds up a hand, he's like, bup, 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 and then sort of spreads them apart with his hands. And he's like, wait a second. Okay, let's go. It's really nice.
It's so good. Like he sees Rama come in. Rama at this point is doing the Ip Man pose again, like in Ip Man 2, where and he just sees him and he goes, beautiful, and just like unhooks Andy, like winches the fucking hook back up to the ceiling the entire time.
It's such a nice touch. He's like tidying up after himself. He's like, well, if I put it away now, I don't have to put it away later. So I'm just going to do this.
I'm not going to like give you the opportunity to do like an environmental kill here with the chain. You know, that's going safely back where it belongs. And we get a long fight. And I like the long fights less because we've seen that like one or two of these blows kill someone instantly. And now you do like a long fight scene, someone has to absorb like dozens of them.
Yeah, this is also on Final Fantasy rules where like they just have enormous amounts of HP, but the mechanics stay the same. So using the same moves, it just takes an hour and a half instead of 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like Mad Dog tries to do his special move of making Rama look to the left very quickly, but it doesn't take.
There's one move in particular that I really want to highlight from Mad Dog's, which is that like Andy has been knocked to the ground, as has Mad Dog. And Mad Dog is sort of like perpendicular to Andy, and he rolls across Andy's entire body, and as he rolls past his head, he like elbows him really hard in the head. And it's such a like, oh, come on, man. It's so fucking good.
Yeah, you like crawl across someone else's body, and like each time you go past, you're like hitting them with your elbows too. It's like, yeah, never not be punching someone.
That's fucking right. That's right. It does a really good job of establishing that these two dudes were not going to be able to beat this guy on their own because they're getting the shit kicked out of them. Mad Dog even nearly wins.
Yeah,
he is the star of the film. Like
he fucking is.
Most charisma, best moves, ranked most powerful. Similar sort of to the same actor's appearance in John Wick 3, where like the whole setup of the scene is like, oh, this guy's way better than the main character. It's just, you know, he wins through like happenstance or whatever.
Like Mad Dog became a sort of a meme on the 2011 Indonesian language internet or Indonesianet, like in sort of the same way that Chuck Norris did. There's a lot of like
Oh, wow.
image macros of him, which I cannot read, of him like advancing towards the camera like he's gonna fuck all of your shit entirely up.
That same sort of like if Yayan Ruyan falls in a pool, he doesn't get wet, the water gets Yayan Ruyan.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
God, he's so fucking good.
But in
he
the
gets
course
so
of this,
much work, and he deserves it, man. He's just you
He's
want a
in
guy
Rogue
in the
One,
movie
too.
that's this guy. You just hire him.
Yeah,
They put him in a Star Wars movie, and they should have put way more of him in that Star Wars movie.
yes,
Absolutely.
God, we got to do Rogue One.
I think he's in Predators as well. Even.
In the course of this, he like accidentally breaks a fluorescent lamp by like getting flipped over another dude. And Andy like grabs a piece of the like shattered fluorescent tube and stabs him in the neck with it.
Yeah,
And then
and you're like, oh, that's the killing blow.
No,
Wrong.
because
Idiot.
he like even if he's bleeding to death, right? At this point, Mad Dog is like, fuck it, one last combo.
My boy is
Like-
tapped like a maple tree, and he keeps fucking going. like he's still fucking swinging, and he still
They're
nearly wins.
extracting his sap, and he is like still kicking the absolute fuck out of these two. Like it only stops when Rama is able to like grab a hold of the fucking like fluorescent light tube and like cut his entire throat with it. It's gross. It's horrible. And that's Mad Dog, you know? And then with 5 minutes left in the runtime, the movie's like, oh fuck, we gotta end the movie now. So
Yeah, I mean that's the end of the movie, really. Is the two of these guys work together to kill like the final boss, and then it's like, all right.
yeah.
He's reached fight nirvana. I've just noticed I wrote down.
Yeah.
So-
It's true. The lieutenant like goes and arrests Tama, kills the other cop.
Genuinely, as this scene started, I began writing the note, God, I hope nothing bad happens to the one nameless grunt in this scene.
Cop
and
two?
I didn't get to the end of the sentence before we get there, where he like shoots him, like, oh, he's betraying us kind of dealio.
RIP Cop 2. And so Wayu kind of like gets Tama in a headlock and like holds a gun on him and tries to like walk his way to the entrance holding him hostage. And Tama explains to him, no, you fucked up here, right? Clearly, your boss has sent you here to get killed. And if you come back, they're not going to like, reward you. They're just going to kill you. But in the dub, in the English dub of this, there's some great fucking delivery because he tells him what happens if you come back is you get
a fucking pillow over your face. Huh? When you are sleeping, you are fucking done! You are out! Asshole.
He's doing the end of fucking Willy Wonka, where he's like, you get nothing. You are done.
You are out. I love the cadence of honestly all of that. Like
When you are sleeping is so
when
fucking
you are
good.
sleeping. If you watch The Raid with the English dub, it's sort of a much worse movie. Apart from the dialogue is way funny.
I do like that that scene is just a really good inversion of having like, oh wow, this guy's using his cunning silver tongue to like completely demoralize this man, and the guy just shoots him. Just shoots him right in the face.
Like, okay. Well, murder-suicide time. Shoots him, tries to kill himself, runs out of bullets, gets arrested by Rama. And then Rama and Andy sort of leave together, and Andy's like, yeah, not all cops are bad. There's like a few good apples. You should find this one good apple cop.
The
who will,
one
like,
good
help
cop.
you.
That's right.
Yeah, who will help you.
who I have
raid
the
too.
name of. Okay.
Yeah, Bunawar. And also, I'm not going with you because, I'm just a crim and you're a cop, and that's just who we are. It fits me and my personality and my lifestyle choice. So this is sort of a criminal acceptance or a criminal tolerance movie, It's like, and some people are just like that, and that's fine.
Yep,
that's
that's
good
right.
too. It's equally valid. And they part ways, and that's the movie. That's the raid.
What a picture.
What did we learn from this picture?
Pencak Silat. Pretty good.
So fucking
Pretty solid.
good. So fucking good.
Yeah, I don't think it's in. I don't think my body is capable of moving fast enough to do any of the martial arts, but that's the one I can't do the most. That is the one that's furthest out of my reach.
So sort of the gap for me between what I'm sort of least able to do and what I most want to be able to do. Because if you told me, we're gonna like train you to do the fucking like knee stab thing, you're like, yeah, great, okay, when do we start? But I'm a podcaster, I have a podcasting physique.
Imagine how self-fulfilled and self-actualized you would be if you were a master of Pencak Silat. It'd be incredible.
And you're just still podcasting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like
setting up podcasts the same way Mad Dog sets up fights, where it's just like, no, I don't use this kind of microphone. That's it takes all the fun away from it. I'm just gonna yell really loud,
Man, it's just good. Like, it's just good. He's a great director. I fucking love Yayan Ruyan. It's just
my beloved Sniper Team.
Oh, Sniper Team. Big ups to Sniper Team, I think. That's the takeaway from this, is in a world specialized in melee fight, being a sniper is really good.
Yeah. Be a sniper is the lesson from this. Are we rating this one? Is this like a mainline thing or is it a bonus? What do we think?
I mean, we could give it a solid go at rating it.
Yeah, all right. I mean, it doesn't. We have a science-based system on this podcast on a scale of like 1 to 7. It's called the SCUM system. It stands for SMARM: cultural insensitivity, unprovoked violence, and misogyny. How smarmy would we say that the movie The Raid Redemption is? 0.
Not hugely.
Yeah.
I think they call me 007 on this one.
Yeah.
0. Cultural insensitivity. How the fuck would I know?
0.
0, I've got to imagine.
Yeah, maybe it's colorist. I don't know.
mean,
there's like one cop and a machete guy, like much darker skinned than everyone else.
I didn't think we'd be rating it.
No.
There is every chance that this is, Indonesia through the eye of a Welshman, that we are seeing that this is interpreted in some like really fucked up way, but don't know enough about it to have any opinions.
Cultural insensitivity,
impossible for me to state.
Unprovoked violence, 27.
Unprovoked violence.
They try to arrest 2 men. Everybody else gets fucking killed, right? There's one guy at the beginning who gets woken up by like 2 cops pressing duct tape over his mouth, having the sort of like Alice first date experience, right? And that's it. Everybody else is getting stabbed. You know how badly...
The first guy we see who gets like pulled off the chair.
Yeah, is that a non-lethal garroting? Is that
non-lethal garrote? Yeah.
Well, I mean, okay, I forgot he got garroted. Okay, not that guy either.
Looking at his totally garroted corpse, just like, you're fucking nicked, sunshine.
They might have just strangled him. We don't really see that. We just see the backwards movement. You could be right.
They also don't like transport anyone out because their truck gets taken anyway. So like the guys who they like zip tied, they're just like lying on the floor, just in there. Yeah.
Presumably Andy's going to go around and just like untie everyone at the end of it.
Oh, you want to be careful doing that. You want to get one of the sort of special casters for this. Anyway.
Well, no, you don't.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. You get a cool story out of it. Unprovoked violence, 27. Mm-hmm. Misogyny has got 2 women in it. One of them's perfect because she's a housewife and pregnant, and the other one's smoking crack. That's pretty fucking misogynistic as far as I'm concerned.
We do also have the 3rd woman, which is the good guy living in Crime City's wife who says, "Hey, don't help that cop."
Oh yeah,
she's right. Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
I think this firmly represents 3 kinds of women.
That's true.
I think we can say that.
Sort of, by introducing a 3rd woman, it's complicated the sort of paradigm of women sufficiently for me to only give it a sort of like a 3 out of 7. Making this an even 30.
I'll listen to you on that.
And our first question mark rating. I would like very much to award a Kaufman star to the Sniper Team who explore each other's bodies
above and beyond.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. What have we learned from this? What can we say to conclude this? What can we possibly say?
Check your corners. Stay frosty out there.
Mm-hmm.
Lock your door.
That's right. Yeah.
If you're a henchman, learn Pencak Silat.
Yeah. Learn Pencak Silat. Learn sniping is the other thing. You want to get on that sniping career track because even the management career track isn't safe. So the sniping career track?
The best way to punch a man to death is from 200 yards away with a sniper rifle.
Yeah, with a little bullet punching. There's, you know what they say, right? If you want to get rich in a gold rush, sell picks and shovels. If you want to get rich during a sort of a martial arts fight, bring a sniper rifle.
That's
and,
right.
Remain sort of 500 meters away. Ben, thanks so much for coming on.
I'll make my final conclusion, and we'll ask you where we can find additional Ben. To me, I watch a lot of this kind of movie. I watched this quite recently. I watched a lot of Hong Kong action films. I watched Ong Bak, Muay Thai Warrior, which also fucking rules. Ong Bak 2 actually is better. I watched Triple R, and I think I can conclusively state that every culture on this earth is united with an absolute love of seeing dudes kick the absolute dick out of each other.
Yes.
And I think that if we all came together and made one final action movie, that we could attain world peace.
Now, what I'd like you, the listener, to do is I'd like to go back, transcribe that word for word, engrave it on a big marble slab, and have it taken to the lobby of the United Nations, where it can replace their charter. This is how we're going to do world peace, is by making the ultimate action movie. And you know what? Steven Seagal's been trying to do that for years, and do we give him any credit for it? No.
I think you're sort of positing a world in which we attain pure harmony through the Kumite as depicted in Bloodsport, where every nation sends a fighter to a secret tournament. Why can't we all just get along?
Should do Bloodsport too.
Yeah, we got to do the Warriors.
Oh my god, that's a perfect movie. God damn.
But not Bloodsport 2. Bloodsport 2 is not a perfect movie. Ben, if the people want more Ben, where can they find you?
I live in the suburb of Auchenflower in Brisbane, postcode 4066. You can find me around there most days. I am also on the podcast Bunta Vista, and we do an episode a week about news that is not interesting enough to have gone viral. It's pretty good, I think. Sometimes some of the episodes are pretty good. Yeah,
big fan. You should listen to Bunta Vista. You should also listen to us, because we got a Patreon as well, which is going to be costing money again. So
that's right.
If you want to,
we're closing that paywall back down, motherfucker. You've had like 4 months of free bonuses.
I saw my energy bill and I was like, turn it back on. So
we can only be kind for so long.
Yes. So our next bonus episode is Pedro Almodovar.
That isn't.
All about my mother. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Good night.
Earlier
forever.
Today, you were talking about wanting to do a different one.
Yeah. God, what was I talking about wanting to do? It's not important. No, it's End of Watch, but I won't do End of Watch. We'll do that. Meantime, thank you for listening. Fuck off.
Thank you for listening to yet another episode of Kill James Bond. Abby obviously couldn't be at this one as she was busy in New York City. So we had to take matters into our own hands, which means that this is not part of the typical bonus-free scenario. The next episode is a free one, and then after that will be all about my mother. Unless I can convince Alice to change her mind again, which I think would be very, very funny, but it will be quite difficult. Obviously, as this comes out on the 22nd, 23rd of February, next week, it's March, and that will be the end of the Banquet of Forgiveness. If you would like to continue receiving bonus episodes after now, you are gonna have to let me see that green. But some people are still supporting us, despite there being absolutely no reason to do so, and I would be remiss if I did not thank our £15 and above patrons, and those are Candy Fox, Freya Aloysius, Gustavo Lira, Jack Holmes, Mike Berg, Hannah Oberhart, Nick Boris, Kentucky Fried Commie, Yarrick, Nato Mori, Cohen Enright, Harriet DeCock, Devon's secret nemesis. All of my nemeses are publicly known. Labor delenda est, a girl named Cat and a cat named Dreadful, Ozymandias, Beef Crime, Library Hitman, Max Gamenhart, Callan Burney, Jack Drummond, Jonathan Gerdes, Kit Divine, Hell, Jay Martindale, Lysamish, Jonathan Siegel, Tarp O, Big Titty Goth Girl, Harrison Fuller, Mothman, George Rohack, Trip, Isopod Gal, Clara, Roasting Marshmallows, oh no, it's Andrew, 95, Violet Cybra, Alex, The Spy Who Ruined My Marriage, Liz and Ash in Florida, A Trans Robot, Men's Room Louie, Ronan, Annie Ruby, Connor's Cool Big Sister, Walscott, Saphira Lucifera, Maz, Zoe Shepherd, my jokes keep being on the wrong episode, Elizabeth Cox, Finn Ross, Quinn Valeri, Roll History Pod, Josie, Alfredo, Artemis Potter and Elizabeth Ball, Turfs Eat Shit and Die Alone, Grey Area, Wolfie, Al Irving, Robert Greensmith, Millie, Josh Simmons, and Lauren Bastin. That's a good few. God, thank you so much. You help us commit our time and effort towards making this show the best that it can be. Your James Bond is Alice, Abigail, and Devon. Our producer is the wonderful Nate Bethay, and our podcast art is by Matty Lubchansky. And our website is by Tom Allen. See ya.